This is exactly what I was talking about. This is exactly why I've been saying for years now. If CNN is truly serious about eradicating the woke fungus, it has got to be eradicated from top to bottom. You cannot leave a microscopic organism. There cannot be any semblance of the fungus left. You got to treat this like you treat algae in a swimming pool. If you own a pool at one point or another, you're going to deal with an algae bloom. Algae is very similar to the woke fungus. Starts off small, maybe a tiny dot of yellow in the corner of the deep end. When you wake up the following morning, it is spread throughout half the deep end of the pool. Later that afternoon, the algae has completely taken over. There are several ways that you can combat algae, but the end result's always the same. In order to eliminate algae, you've got to clean the entire pool from top to bottom, from the actual pool itself all the way to the filtration system. Because if you leave one microscopic organism, if you leave a tiny speck of algae, you're going to be dealing with the same problem a week later. Same thing with the woke fungus. If you want to eradicate the fungus, you have to get rid of everyone that's been infected. In the case of CNN, that means firing everyone from the unknowns in your daily lineup to the non-binary janitor who spends hours every day trying to figure out which bathroom to use. Am I a man or am I a woman? I don't know. This choice is so traumatizing. I am feeling more like a dandelion, but there's no bathroom dedicated to delicate flowers. I'm being marginalized. Oh! What ends up happening when you don't eradicate the woke fungus is exactly what's happened to CNN the last few years. And it's exactly what happened live on CNN earlier this week. Mark Thompson has been busy trying to promote the new and improved CNN. He's made exciting changes to the daily lineup by moving Wolf Blitzer. Woof, woof, woof. He moved Wolf Blitzer from sedating viewers in the afternoon to ensuring they never get out of bed in the morning. He fired high-profile deacons at Woke United Methodist like James Acosta. Well, Casey, that's not true. Jim Acosta didn't get fired. He quit! Yeah, sure. There are multiple ways to be fired without your employer verbalizing it. If Joy Reid walks outside of her apartment and the climate-friendly broom provided by MSNBC for transportation is no longer leaning against the wall, that's a pretty clear signal that her evil is no longer needed at the network. By moving James Acosta to the graveyard shift, CNN was essentially moving his career to the literal graveyard. They were telling James, you're no longer needed. But like I told you guys the other day, firing Jim Acosta, that's not enough. CNN laying off 6% of their workforce, that is not enough. I'm no expert in math, but last I checked, 6% is not 100%. If Mark Thompson wants a chance at saving the Titanic, 100% of the fungus has to be eradicated. And when that doesn't happen, you're left with embarrassing situations like CNN had the other night, where a woke journalist lost emotional control and threw a temper tantrum on live television. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Let's get to the sponsor for today's video, my good friends at CertaShame. Have you ever wanted to tell a politician exactly what you think of them, but in a way that's safe, effective, and funny at the same time? Well, now you can with CertaShame, the ultimate way to hold politicians accountable and have a good time doing it. From Johnny B. Biden to cackling Cam Harris, CertaShame lets you send custom comedic certificates to the politicians who piss you off. Whether they've been lying, lazy, or downright incompetent, CertaShame has you covered. Want to call out the liar-in-chief or maybe award a mass invasion maestro? CertaShame has dozens of options for every broken promise or incompetent blunder. And here's the best part. These personalized participation awards, they are mailed directly to the politician of your choice anonymously. It is the perfect way to vent your frustrations and let them know that you're pissed off without you ever having to say a word. So click the link in the description below. Use my promo code BTL10 to save 10% off your first certificate with CertiShame. You know, Scott Jennings is quickly becoming my favorite personality in the mainstream media. The Jesse Waters, the Sean Hannitys, they have it easy. They are surrounded by mostly normal people at Fox News. Even the liberals at Fox News are mostly normal. They're actual liberals. They're not the woke wanker spankers that we see on other networks. Jesse Waters, he's talking to people like Patrick Bet-David, Sean Hannity. He's doing segments with Donnie Trump or Stephen A. Smith. Scott Jennings, he's got the hardest job in the media because he goes to work at CNN every day knowing that he is the only normal person at the network surrounded by maniacs. The other night, Scott Jennings was a part of his usual panel with Abby Phillip. Well, Casey, who in the hell is Abby Phillip? You know, I always get this question anytime we're talking about CNN. Who is Casey Hunt? Who is Pampers Brown? Why is that blonde lady named Dana calling herself Dan? These are the same questions that woke welfare collectors at CNN get when they go home for Christmas. Pamela Brown goes home with a name tag and she still doesn't get recognized. The family thinks Pampers is just delivering the diapers. Earlier this week, Scott Jennings, he was a part of a panel of unknowns at CNN. Obviously, the panel was supposed to be diverse. The panel featured 2 men and 4 women. 2 black women, 2 white women, and 2 white men. I don't know about you guys, but that doesn't sound very diverse to me. That doesn't sound very equitable. Unless one of the women were identifying as a man, the men were clearly outnumbered. Also, I didn't notice any representation of the LGBTs. That is no bueno. The scales of diversity were also imbalanced because Scott Jennings, he was outnumbered 5-1. 1 normal person against 5 indoctrinated. Fortunately, Scott Jennings, he is highly trained in dealing with the indoctrinated. He knows exactly which words to use to trigger an emotional meltdown. The panel was spreading the latest myth that Elon Musk and the Trumper are the modern-day Adolf. They have moved past the illusion of Russian collusion. They've moved past the felony labels with the Trumper. The newest myth in the mainstream media is Adolf 2.0. There was an unknown lady on the panel named Catherine Rampell, Cathy Pemple. Who cares? It doesn't matter what her name is. If Mark Thompson is truly committed to eradicating the fungus, Cathy will not be invited back to CNN after the temper tantrum that she threw the other night. Cat Pemple was spreading the false narrative that Adolf 2.0 is Elon Musk and Donnie Trump. She spoke for several painfully boring minutes, which caused several of her colleagues to fall out of their chairs after being sedated. Scott Jennings, though, he remained cognizant. Scott Jennings was the only lucid and logical person on the panel, and he made a polite recommendation to Cat Pemple to get a lawyer to defend herself against the inevitable lawsuit for slander. This caused an emotional reaction from Cat as her pimple burst. Watch for yourself.
The first time that Elon Musk decides to declare that globalist Jews are responsible for the great replacement of brown people into the United States, maybe it was a misunderstanding. The second time he said that Jews are pushing hatred against white people, that's a quote, you know, that was a little iffy. By the second Sieg Heil, I think he kind of loses the benefit of the doubt to be not accused of playing footsie with these Nazis. I'm not saying he's a Nazi. I'm saying the Nazis think he's a Nazi.
We've moved on from Trump derangement syndrome to Elon derangement syndrome.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want to defend his saying
the
Germans get to...
Let me let him finish, Catherine.
I love this game we play where you talk for 2 minutes, I talk for 3 seconds, and you freak out. Anybody who is asserting this thing he did on the stage the other day was a Sieg Heil, which I just heard you say, you know, lawyer up maybe, because absolute ridiculous thing to say. Under no
The
circumstances,
Nazis in Germany thought it was a Sieg Heil.
Under no
The Nazis in Germany thought it was a Sieg
circumstances
Heil.
was he doing anything other than expressing enthusiastically.
Why don't you do it
his
on TV right now?
His appreciation.
Why don't you do it on TV right now if you think it's so?
Number three.
So you know, as the Jew at this table,
I'm trying to finish my
I
point.
would say
the people who are most concerned about and most all over Elon Musk today have had nary a word for the Nazis on college campuses who've gone crazy for the last year and a half.
That is bull. That is bull.
First of all, Scott Jennings is an absolute gangster. If Mark Thompson wants to draw ratings, he should clone Scott Jennings and feature him 24 hours a day on CNN. Are you starting to understand why I keep saying that you have to eradicate the fungus? These clips, they make for nice sound bites. These clips go viral on social media. They're fun to watch for a couple of minutes, but no one wants to see this derangement 24 hours a day. This woman, she is losing her mind because... hell, I don't even know what caused it. I guess she threw a temper tantrum because Scott Jennings told her to hire a lawyer. I guess she embarrassed herself on national television because Scott Jennings disagreed with her fairy tale that Elon Musk is Adolf 2.0. I don't even think she knows why she was triggered. This is why I keep saying that Mark Thompson's plan is going to end in huge embarrassing failure. You are still featuring Caitlin Collins. Katie, woo! Katie, woo! You are still featuring The Roo in prime time. You are still featuring Abby Phillip in prime time. The dozens of people who watch CNN, they are seeing the same unknown names and unrecognizable faces that they were seeing last year. So what's changed? Where are all these changes? You laid off 200 staffers behind the scenes. Who cares? You fired James Acosta. Who cares? That's like a dude with acne getting excited because he popped one pimple. Why are you getting excited when your face still looks like a chemical explosion? Why is CNN getting excited because they eradicated 6% of the woke fungus? Have you seen how fast the fungus can spread? Eradicating 6%, that is the equivalent to a flea on an elephant's ass. I don't understand the hesitation. I don't understand the fear. I know Mark Thompson can't fire everyone all at the same time, but when the rumors of these layoffs were leaked last spring, I was expecting more. Your network is on life support. The top deck of the Titanic, that is the only thing left above water. And your solution is firing Jim Acosta? That's it? I don't get it. I don't get it, but what the hell do I know? I'm not a daily user of Preparation H. But give me your thoughts on this. Scott Jennings causes another CNN panelist to have an emotional meltdown. Luckily for CNN, very few people were watching this live, but the clip has been viewed millions of times on social media. If I'm Mark Thompson, I am giving Scott Jennings his own show in prime time. Would you watch CNN if Scott Jennings had his own show? Let me know. Sound off in the comments below. Best way to contact me is through email, btlkc84@gmail.com. I'll see you guys later.